Hi everybody, how are we all? 12:12. How is everyone? See what this card deck is. If you're on, say hey, let me know you're there so I can see you. Hey Emma, how are you? Are you in Canada? Hi Bobby, Crystal. How is everybody? Where are you all from? Let me know. I'm bored. I'm not bored. I'm on here talking to you, Emma. Hey Bobby, how you going? I'm really well. I'm really well. I'm a little bit late today because I just finished a reading and went a little bit over time with things. So, Leanne, how are you? How's everybody's week? Carol, how are you? Oh, Emma, I'm so sorry to hear that. Hi, Julie. Yeah, it's an incredible day. I haven't been able to get out yet, so I sort of hit the floor running this morning. So it's been a busy morning. Hi, Pamela. How are you? Bobby, Tamara. Perfect timing, child free. I know the kids have gone back to school. How's everyone feeling? Hayden. Check you out, Hayden. Finally signed for our house and you got offered a new job. That's incredible. I just sometimes I don't realize the cards that I actually have in my collection, and I just found this beautiful deck of cards. I have to show it to you. It's the Sacred World Oracle by Chris Walder. Walder. And they're really cute. So I'm going to be using these today. US Games is the publisher. Party Time. God, I don't know what Party Time is. It feels like we've all been imprisoned for the whole entire year. Okay, so for those of you that are joining for the first time, and for those of you that join on a regular basis, I'm just going to reiterate the way that this works. Okay, so Spirit guides me to where I need to go and to where I need to read, if that makes sense. So if you're sending me messages and I'm not replying or not responding, please don't be offended by it. I won't interrupt the reading if I can help it. And so just be aware that I am actually seeing your messages. I will go where I'm guided by Spirit. That doesn't mean I'm ignoring you totally. It just means that Spirit knows who's on and who needs pressing guidance is the word that I'd actually use, pressing guidance. And so, yeah, that's how things go. Ginge, how are you, my love? Are you right? Sarah, separated with my partner. It's my birthday tomorrow. Glad the kids have gone back to school. They are so happy. Sarah, that's a shame. Looks like everybody's in transition. That's really cool. Maria, how are you? Oops. All right. So, yeah, it looks like everybody's in transition at the moment. I feel as if we've come through another shift, you know, with this whole sort of like COVID thing that's gone on. there's so many shifts and changes that are actually going on near and around us, and it's like, you come through one door and then go through another door and another door and another door, and I just feel like you've gone from that whole confrontational being locked down, and now everybody's like coming to new changes and new realizations and new, I guess, developments in and around finding who they are. And I'm just finding that with a lot of clients at the moment, they've faced the demons, they've battled the demons, and they're now sort of stepping up into, I guess, their own energy and taking back their own energy and redefining who they are and what they want out of this existence and out of this life. So from a mediumship side, it's been an interesting observation just to see how, I guess it's like a worldwide experiment, a worldwide social experiment, really. How do people, cope with isolation, and how do people cope with, just being left alone with themselves, or being confined with other people and not having that outlet. So yeah, it's been really interesting. Melanie, how are you? What's on the agenda for everybody's day? What's happening? What's everyone up to? The laptop's dirty. Just found some crumbs. All right, so let me see what I want to do today. Does anybody have any questions? Let's start with questions, huh? Oh, check me out. Seriously, one day I'm going to get this banter thing right and the banners right. What am I doing? Oh, look, I stuffed it up again. What am I doing? Which one do I want? I've got all these banners that you can click, and sometimes when I'm not paying attention, which is quite often, there we go. I fixed it. I just clicked the wrong thing and it just doesn't come up with anything. So it's really interesting. Techno savvy. Okay, let me just look. You're all going 100 miles an hour now. Wait. Rewind. Yep, Emma. Emma, he's fine. Okay, don't stress about it. He's fine. Just like people passing over, animal passing over, they lose all their pain, they lose all of their trauma, and they're happy little puppies again. So yeah, he's definitely fine, which is, a beautiful thing. So yeah, he understands the decisions and everything. So don't stress too much about it, honey. He knows that he loves you and that you love him, and he's still around. Don't stress. I've got a little rat in spirit as well. He runs around still, and I miss him every day. But I think that sometimes they have to leave us in order to be there for us on a bigger level, which is just beautiful. Pamela's doing her garden where she feels her angels. Bobby Smith is what was it that told you, or you knew you were a medium? I don't think it was one thing in particular, Bobby. I think I've always been intuitive. And even as a young one, I could, just pick people's personalities, and, had a greater understanding as to sort of like the way that people worked. I could work them out pretty quickly. Always knew if the phone was going to ring, who was going to be on the phone, and those type of things. But for me, I sort of like started to question. The first time was when my grandfather passed over, and I actually saw him standing at the end of my bed, and he was wearing a blue, I thought it was a blue dress or a blue nightie or something like that. And I remember ringing up Mum, going like, "Pop's at the end of the bed and he's wearing a nightie." And I had no idea what he'd been buried in or any of those details. I just knew that he'd passed over, but he was actually wearing a burial shroud that they buried him in. And that was the first time I saw spirit, actually saw spirit. And then I'd always been interested in crystals and things like that. So I started my journey with crystals, and then went into shamanism, and started card readings, and it sort of like just all sort of like clicked into place. And I lived in the UK for a little bit, and when I got back, I think my awakening happened in the UK, more than anything, because I used to spend a lot of time in the cemetery next door, and it was such an old cemetery. You had graves way back from the 1700s, and I could actually hear them. So I used to go in there and talk to them, and they sort of became my friends. And it was when I got back from the UK that I really pushed myself to develop, and it's sort of just steamrolled from there, really. So I don't think it was anything in particular. It's just a part of who you are, and I guess it's like learning to walk and learning to talk, and learning all those fundamentals of being a human on this plane of existence. And it all just came together, really. And this is sort of like the end result. It's been a lot of development, though. It's a lot of people question the amount that mediums charge for their services, and you all have to understand that it's not an easy job. At times it can be physically taxing, it can be mentally taxing, it can be emotional as well, and we have to deal with these things each and every day. And on top of that, it's the amount of discipline that goes into the development as a medium. And it's the meditation times, it's the just learning the skills of how to connect to spirit, how to improve the links, and all of those sort of things. So that's why mediums do charge a certain amount of money. And it's one of the reasons why we put a price tag on what we do. It's not about wanting to earn money and rip people off or anything like that. It's just that it's like anything. If you're working with a banker, or if you're working with an accountant, they've gone and they've done their study, and mediums have put in the hard work too. We make it look easy, but I can assure you, and for those of you that do work with spirit, it's not that easy. It can be really taxing and emotional, and there are times when you are woken up at ridiculous hours of the morning to do work and to connect, and so it's you're kind of on call 24 hours a day, really. And so that's why we do charge what we actually charge. So yeah, I hope that helps out. VN, how are you, my love? Yeah, Bobby, a gradual. Look, it is a gradual process. I think it's an awakening process, but it's like anything. It's just a part of you that develops. Some people will have it really early in their age, and be aware. I mean, you're aware that you're not the only thing that exists. I guess you're aware of a different energy that's near and around, but sometimes you just don't know what that is, or you can't put a finger on it. You feel like there's something else with you in the room, but you don't know what it is. You're like, it's almost like I used to have this feeling of being watched. That's the only way that I could describe it. I had this feeling of being watched. But yeah, it's really interesting. Patricia's wanting to know, how do you block spirit so you can have time off? Patricia, I don't think we ever have time off as mediums. I don't think we ever do have time off. I have spirit coming in, a lot of the time, but you set your guides to allow, that time off, or that space for yourself, and so they won't actually allow them through. So it's discipline. Again, it's being disciplined. It's setting your guides to work with you. It's setting your gatekeepers to work with you, and it's sort of like, it's something you can't turn off. It's like breathing. You can't turn it off, but it's where you give your focus to, and put your focus on. I explained it to somebody the other day, actually, and it's like, when you want to move your arm, you're consciously going, I need my arm to move, because I need to use it. And the same is about mediumship. It's just like moving any other part of your body, or if you're wanting to read something, you're focusing with your eyes, and so you're giving it that focus. That's how I explain it anyway. Just reading some of your messages, guys. So if there's a pause, don't stress too much. How do you know what crystal to have is right for you? Julie's asking, how do you know what crystal to have is right for you? Julie, it's what you're drawn to, okay? It's what you're drawn to. You've got to remember that crystals are rocks and minerals, and your body will naturally gravitate to what you're lacking, okay? So if you're drawn to something, then that's the one you need right now because you're lacking in it. And it could be, you know, anything from a magnesium based or a sulfur based, or you know, it could be quartz or anything like that, but your body naturally will go to what you're lacking and what you're drawn to, you know, as a way of sort of like bringing it into your energy or bringing it into your body. It's like when you're craving, you know, when you're craving protein, you're going to want meat, okay? When you're craving, you know, when you're lacking in calcium, you're going to want milk and cheese and things like that. And the same thing is how crystals work as well. And so you've got to be naturally drawn to what you're actually, you know, seeking in your life. I used to do readings many years ago with crystals, and I'd get a person to choose the crystal because they'd always choose the one they needed and the one that they were lacking. And so then that gave me an understanding and an insight as to sort of like where their things are in their life, if that makes sense, because they've essentially chosen what they don't have and what they're needing. So I hope that answers your question there. Lisa's saying that she's surrounded by crystals that Dad found. He is passed, but I feel him with me through the crystals. Crystals, you know, crystals really do take on a lot of energy, and you know, they sort of like, especially quartz and things like that, they amplify energies, but they also are record keepers too. So they actually take on the energy and take on information. And so quite often a crystal, for a matter of fact, the entire network of social security can be stored in a single facet of a quartz crystal. So they are the original computers, essentially. You've got to look at it: quartz crystal, liquid crystal, lasers, everything like that. They're all based on crystals or the crystalline families. You know, whether it's beryls or whether it's quartzes or, you know, just whatever crystal component that they're working with. There's so many crystals that, you know, the fact that you're watching me now is based on a crystalline formula. You know, because there's crystals in computers, computer chips. Silicon oxide is quartz. So yeah, it's really cool. We'll have to do a little bit more on crystals, I think, because there seems to be some of you, you know, talking about crystals. Hey, Caroline, how are you, sweetheart? You dyed your hair, babe. I'm just reading some messages. Kathy, saw you at Evening on Mediumship earlier in the year. I didn't have anything come through, but you're amazing. I'm asking. I am well, Carolyn. I do the same. I get bored and dye my own hair, do weird stuff. I'm really hoping, babe, that you can get back to work soon. This government's mental. So yeah, I'm rallying for all my mates and all my friends who are barbers who are struggling at the moment. So sending out some love to you. I'm just scanning some. Okay. Kathy, let's have a look here. But you're amazing. I mean, so the houses. Kathy, I want to go north with you. Okay. I feel like I want to go northwest. But I want to go. So I don't know whether you're going to head to Queensland, but a little bit west. Not so much beachside, but a little bit more inland. But I feel like I'm going north with you, and I want to head up that way. I think anybody sort of like, whereabouts are you? I'm assuming you're in Australia, Kathy. Anyway, wherever you are at the present time, I feel like I want to go north, but I want to go west. So yeah, that's the way that I actually want to go with you, because I'm seeing I want to go up and I want to go to that side, or up and that side, really, for you guys, because I have to do it backwards. So yeah, I feel like that is the way that things are going to be coming there. Moving, I don't see anything for this year. I see on the other side of April next year for you. and your daughter will find a house. I want to go for September with her, so I don't think anything this year. Okay, I just want to stay put for this year and just focus on where things are at the present time. Okay, but I think you're all going to be fine. I just think it's going to be a little bit of planning and a little bit of just moving slowly and gradually. Don't stay stuck in the mud. Keep those toes wiggling and move forward. But I do feel that next year by September you both should be where you need to be. So I hope that helps for you anyway. Kathy, Jax, how are you, my love? Are you busy? Sending you lots of love. Nira, how are you? I believe you're Vin's sister. Welcome to the banter. All right, let's pull some cards, guys. What do you say? Let's have a look here. Wait a minute. Francis has got a question. Can you clear crystals in a running stream? And the answer to that is most definitely. You can clear crystals in a running stream, in any type of incense. You can clear crystals with sound, intention, salt water, anything like that. You can clear crystals. Be mindful, though, of anything that is... be mindful of anything that is like selenite based. So don't put in a selenite because you'll come back with nothing. It'll just dissolve. And any of those type of crystals, any of your kyanites, your malachites, nah, don't put those in. Use sound or smoke or something like that. There are other ways to clear those type of crystals. Stick them on some amethyst. Amethyst is a natural cleanser. So you can put all your selenites, kyanites, malachites, any of those, but anything else like your jaspers and your quartz-based crystals, anything like your fluorites, apopholites, any of those, they're okay to put in water. But just be mindful, though, guys, that when you're putting in crystals that have a little bit of color in them, if you're going to shove them in the sun, be aware that they may actually they may actually fade just a little bit. So just be mindful. There are so many ways to actually to do crystals. What I might do is a show on crystals, and just we'll bring in that for you, so you have a little bit of understanding. I'll see if I can get somebody that specializes in crystals that I can interview for you guys. I have a few people that I can actually do that with, and we'll get someone on here to talk about crystals and just to what they do and how they work with things. So I hope that helps you there. Let's have a look here. Just running through some, seeing if there's any. Jackie's busy. Good. Hollies or anything in store for me in the next 2 to 3 months that you can see. Yeah, that'd be great, sure. Because all right, we're going to do a show on crystals, guys. The other thing we're going to do a show on is for kids. Okay, it's about reading with kids cards. I'm going to try and get Raya on here to work with me for the banter, because she's the only child I have on hand at the minute. Unless I pull one over from the school. But I think it's really important to talk about children and how spirituality and spiritualism affect kids. And, all of us are adults and we have children. And sometimes we have little ones that are already awake and they're interested and they love their crystals and, they love this and they love that. And it's just, we'll talk about how to keep them going, how to keep them working with spirit so that they don't close off their gifts, because so many people close off their gifts when they're just about 8 and 9 years old, and then they do their whole life and then come back to it at the end of their life. But there are tricks and there are ways to move them through and to keep that flowing so that they don't actually lose their gifts. They develop them rather than anything else. Let me just see if I missed any little messages here. Let me just check before I jump into cards. Kathy, you and Victoria. Good. All right. I think I've answered everybody's little questions. So, Nira, Your grandson has anxiety and fears, difficulty in sleeping through the night without fears. Nira, I will send you some stuff. I will send it to Vien, and or I'll get your address and I'll send you some stuff, okay, for your son. Okay, so when you're dealing with anything like Nira's actually put up here, I'm just going to put her message up here. Her grandson has anxiety and fears, difficulty in sleeping through the night. So some of the things that you can actually use for kids is just the reassurance that, you know, that things are going to be okay. So you want to work with things like lemon chrysoprase is great for nighttime difficulties, you know, for any nightmares, any things like that. Dream catchers are really good for kids as well, because, you know, the understanding that the bad dreams are caught by the dream catcher. And the other thing is like little worry dolls that you can make, where sometimes, you know, the kids' anxiety comes from worries. You know, they're so in tune and so connected to you know, the world and as little empaths, and they have all these worries, but they don't know where to put them. And so worry dolls are really good for children as well. So Nira, I'll send you out some of those things so that you can actually work with your grandson, and you know, hopefully that will alleviate some of those nighttime terrors and work through that. But for those of you who, you know, have you know, younger children that are exhibiting similar types of things, you know, these little things, you know, they do help. You know, they just anchor down that safety and allow the child to sleep through the night. So yeah, Colleen, doing really well, thank you. Can you use a crystal under the pillow? Yeah, it might be a bit lumpy, Francis, but you can. Of course you can. You can use it under your pillow. You can use it in your bra. You can use it wherever you want. You know, in your knickers if you want to. So yeah, Nira, I'll get those. I'll grab your address. Rivka might have it already, so we'll send those out to you. I'll contact you in a bit shortly. All right, let's do some cards, guys. What do you say? Let's do some cards. Okay, all right. First thing here, I'm going to go with Colleen. I'm really drawn to you, Colleen. Hello, welcome to the banter. I hope everybody's doing really well. Got these really cool cards today, these little animal cards, but I didn't even know I had them. So let's have a look. Let's see where we're going for you. Look, one flew out. Look at this. It's the lion. Isn't he handsome? I love him. He's really cool. I haven't used these cards before, so I'm just going to check. I'm not quite sure. Everybody works their cards differently, so sometimes they have a different way of reading them, and you know, a different way of working with them. Oh, he's not. He's like a half. He's not a lion. I don't know what he is. Hang on. I have to check it out. He's like half this and half that, and wait a minute. I've never heard of this before. That's my naivety. You can't actually know everything. So he looks like he's half lion and half snake. But there's a goat in there as well. So anyway, let's see what it says. Compromise between opposites, balance, finding a way and bring it together. The Shimmer card suggests the opportunity to find union between seemingly disharmonious parts in your life. The daughter of, oh my God, I'm not even going to go into that. What is it? Basically, she's a hybrid creature. Okay, so now I'm going to bring it back up to you again. If you actually have a look, there's a goat in there. There's a snake as well, and there's the lion. So it's all components, and I feel that, Colleen, this is your, you know, the different components of who you are and the different archetype, you know, archetypes that you tap into, that are fighting within themselves, if that makes sense. And it's like this head wants to go that way, that head wants to go that way, this part wants to go this way, this one wants to go that way. And I'm just feeling as if we need to bring balance into you at the present time. I feel as if, you know, it's like your inner demons are all arguing with themselves, and it's just causing a whole bunch of confusion into where you need to be and what you're actually going to move forward in. And so it's just a matter of trying to get everybody to work in unison to say, hey guys, settle down, I need to move forward. So you're all going to have to take a step at the time. You know, when you see, and Spirits just reminded me as a bit of a chuckle, you know, when you do those races as a kid where they tie your leg together with a partner, and so you've got one leg and then you've got like, you know, you've got one leg tied to your partner's leg, and then you're like trying to walk at the same time, and so you have to get that middle leg to actually walk in unison with the pens. That's what I'm feeling like, that's what I'm actually seeing. And I'm just, it's almost like you're not walking in balance. It's like this part of you wants to go that way, that party wants to go that way, and as a result you're just stumbling and falling all over the place. And you know, so you need to bring balance into your life, Colleen. You need to, you know, just quieten your mind a little bit and get all parts of yourself to move forward in unison. I'm being brought to my head and my heart in regards to this. And you know, I'm just really feeling as if your head and your heart are in conflict, and it's like, guys, sort yourselves out, you need to actually move forward here. And that's what I'm seeing around it. It's very much a fire element here as well, so there's fire in the belly, but you know, there's the tree that's sitting behind you, and it's like your grounding can either be burnt, or your grounding can actually, you know, keep you stabilized and act as a blocker for that fire. So I really feel at the present time, there's so much going on for you on an emotional level and a physical level. But in order for you to move forward, sweetheart, you're going to have to bring balance into your life, and you're just going to have to realize that you can't do absolutely everything. You know, you can't do everything on your own, but you have elements of yourself that you need to tap into, to delegate and to say, right, you're going to move that leg, you're going to move that leg, and together we're going to move forward. And so for you, I feel like the basis of this card is about unison. It's about, you know, getting things to work together rather than separately. And that can be yourself and people around you as well. Like everybody has to do their bit to be able to move forward. But I'm also feeling that for you, there's an emotional awakening, and you're a little bit like wobbly on your legs at the present time. It's like a newborn foal, and it's like you're not quite sure and not stable on the footing, but I do feel you will get it. But at the moment, that leg wants to go this way, this one wants to go that way, and you're just sort of like falling on your ass in a big way, if that makes sense. But you know, coming up, transition is going to be good for you. I can see the emotional content of what you're sitting in at the moment. I feel like that will put all that fire out, and you know, it'll just leave this thin layer of water over where you're actually needing to be at the present time. So a lot of changes coming up for you, Colleen, and I just want to say to you, bring balance in, work in unison with your mind and your heart, and bring that down to the grounding, and you'll be able to move forward. That makes sense for you. It's yeah, I'm just laughing because I just see these kids running around trying to move forward and falling on their butts. But that's okay, as long as you don't fall on your face, everything's going to be really cool. You're welcome, Colleen. More than welcome. So yeah, thank you for that response. Well done, Amelia. I was saying to Amelia the other day, and I think this is relevant to everybody. You know, if you want to get noticed in life, you can't stand at the back of the canteen. You're never going to get served. So, you know, if you want to move forward in life and you want to be noticed, you want to be seen, and you want to get to where you need to be, you've got to put yourself at the front of the queue. You know, everybody else is going to elbow their way through, so you may as well do it as well. Here's a really valid question. Okay, so Tamara, do you ever wonder what spirits bring to you in a reading and worry that the person receiving the reading may not want to hear it? Tamara, look, I've been in the industry long enough to know how to deal with situations and circumstances like that. But I think every single medium that has an ounce of integrity will question from time to time, am I going to be good enough? Is the information that I'm giving across clear and concise? And I've learned that the information that spirit brings in a reading or in guidance, or whichever way it's delivered, may not necessarily be what the person wants to hear, but it's what they need to hear. Okay, it's what they need to hear. And that's something that I make very clear at the beginning of readings. It's like, sometimes you'll get information that you may not want to hear, but you need to hear it. Okay, and spirit's all about tough love sometimes, and it's we all go through life, and we all have things that we're not ready, we don't want to hear about. But I also say to my clients too that, if at any time you're feeling really uncomfortable with the reading, just tell me to move on from that, and I'm more than happy to do that. And so, yeah, look, there are things that obviously you touch on in readings that are a little bit too sensitive, and you just move on from them. Spirit will say something, and the person will acknowledge that, and then go, look, I'm not comfortable with that, and that's okay. That's okay. You just need to move forward on that, and you just let it go. But they know that spirit's acknowledged it, and that's all that needs to be said. You don't need to, squeeze a person to the point where they're, absolutely devastated and a blubbering mess. You're not there to crucify somebody. You're there to provide guidance, and loving guidance at that. So yeah, it's really about just giving them what they need to know in order for their soul to actually evolve and to grow. So that's how I read, and that's how the guidance comes across there. You're welcome, Tamara. I'm always gentle. As a medium, you have to be empathetic. Sometimes you'll just say to somebody, look, and as a medium, you have to understand we're the conduit in between. And when you're dealing with spirits, as in loved ones that have passed over or connections that have passed over, I never ever decipher it for myself. How they see it is how I pass it across. Sometimes the names are a little bit different, like they sound like something, but they'll go, yeah, I can place that. It's very, very similar. But the message is always clear and concise, and they're not my messages to judge. I just pass them across. And if somebody doesn't want to hear that, then I'm not going to go to the spirit and go, can I have some more information? You're not going to crucify somebody. You're just going to keep moving. But they know that little trigger and that little whisper is being put in their ear, in their mind, that spirit's knowing that you need to deal with this, and you let them deal with it and move forward in the process, of the natural process that they need to, if that makes sense. Hi, Crosby. How are you? April, how are you? Lindy. Do we have free will? Our future, all are the main bits predetermined. And do we have a day that we are going to die before we are born? Lindy, I think this is something that everybody questions, and it came up for discussion not that long ago, actually, with Jason. And we do have free will, and that's exactly what I say to people that have a reading with me. Use it as entertainment, okay? Because I like people to be able to determine their own choices. I don't want somebody to come back and go, Bec said this and it didn't happen, or Bec said that and I'm waiting for it to happen. You have free will. You have freedom of choice. And it's really important that you understand that you do steer your pathway. You know, you're driving this truck through this world, and you know how you do things is certainly up to you. You're given the choices, they're put in front of you, whether you choose to take them or not, well, that's your choice. Big life lessons you are going to have to deal with at some stage, though, Lindy. And, you know, you can't avoid them forever and ever, because, you know, it will come up and it will continue to come up until you actually get the lesson, if that makes sense. And years ago, it was explained to me like this. You know, you're walking along the road, and you see this shadow on the ground. You don't know what it is, but you keep walking, and suddenly you find yourself in this big hole, and you think like, oh shit, I'm in a hole. What do I need to do here? So you climb your way out, you get out, and you think, wow, that was a bit tragic, but I'm glad I'm out of that place. And then, you know, a few weeks later, you're walking along, and you see this, you know, bigger shadow on the ground, and you're not really paying attention, and bang, you find yourself in that hole again, and you think, I can't believe I'm back in this situation. You know, I'm back here exactly the same, but you know, it's bigger than the last hole. I don't know what's going on here, but anyway, I just didn't see it. So you climb your way out of that one, and you just think, oh my goodness. And you know, a couple more times you find yourself falling bigger and bigger holes, and exactly the same thing. And you're starting to get frustrated with yourself, thinking like, how many more times do I have to go through this? And each and every one of you watching would have had that situation. Like, I cannot believe I'm in this same lesson. How many times is this going to happen to me? How many times are people going to screw me over? How many times am I going to be cheated on? How many times, you know, am I going to fail this? And it's, you know, all of these little holes that you're falling into. And then suddenly one day, you know, you're walking along and you see this big shadow, and you think to yourself, hell no, there is no way I'm going near that thing. So you go around it, and spirit goes, oh, thank God, they finally learned that lesson. Tick off the box. Yep, you passed that test. And then you know, you go on to the next one. But you know, I do believe that we have an end date predetermined for us. And I think that, you know, all of that is contractual when our soul actually comes down on this platform. But yeah, I think that, and this is just my personal opinion, you know, it's by no means right for everybody, but it's right for me. But I do believe we have free will, and I do believe that a lot of things in our lives are predetermined. And I think, as I've explained to you guys before, there are so many things in life that we don't have control of that come into play in predetermining our future and the way that things move forward in our future. And I see it as like clogs on a clock. You know, this one has to turn in order for that one to turn, in order for that one to turn, in order for that to move, in order for that to go forward. And inevitably, the hands move. Okay, so but there are so many components there, and we can't just say, you know, it's all about us, because it's actually not. You know, people that come into our lives, they've got their own little cogs turning, and you know, everything's predetermined that at this time and at this place, this is going to happen. And so that's my belief about how things actually, you know, work and how things come forward in this life. Because yes, it is all contractual, it is all organized before we come down here, and everything's on a schedule. So that's why we have timelines on our path, on our palms. But again, that's just my belief, Lindy. And I'm certainly, you know, open to hearing other people's belief systems around it. And you know, I don't believe anybody's right or everybody's wrong. It's just what you believe personally and your personal journey, if that makes sense. Leanne's written here, I smell my grandparents around the house. Are they trying to tell me something? It's really interesting that you're saying that, Leanne, because so often you smell spirit, and sometimes you smell them with tobacco scents, or you know, if one of your parents or grandparents or loved ones worked on cars, you might smell the oil of the car. You know, you might smell little old grannies with their you know, steamroller perfume from Avon, or if they're a little bit older, you'll get like violet waters and things like that, lavender waters, violet waters, you know, what they would have used for scent. And they just come forward to let us know that they're near and around us. Sometimes they'll come forward around the time of anniversaries, their passing date, their birth date, any special events, your birth date, they might come forward. And, you know, they just let you know basically that they're there and they're supportive. So, you know, without actually going full on into a reading, I think that they're just letting you know that they're there. But if you do want to sort of like look into that a little bit further, I'm more than happy to do a private reading for you. And scrolling across the bottom of the screen at the moment is my email, and you can get in contact with me at office.ozpsychicbarber@gmail.com, and I'm more than happy to do that reading for you at a later date. Just reading some of your messages, so just bear with me. Avon memories, yeah, aren't they true, Marianne? I've got a lot of those as well. It's funny, like the little nanas used to go through the Avon book and order your Christmas presents, and it was just, remember the jewelry, this tacky jewelry? I used to, I'm a huge Dolly Parton fan, and I used to get really excited when the Avon book came in because it had all these gaudy rings like Dolly used to wear, and I used to order them, and they were so vile. Mum, if you're watching, you would remember those rings that I used to order from Avon because Dolly had big blingy rings, and I wanted them too. There you go, April. Rose from Avon. Lisa's asking a question here. Do I believe in reincarnation? Okay. I was told in another life I was a Native American Indian princess, and my guardian angel is an old American Indian lady. I do believe in reincarnation, Lisa. I believe that our soul will return as many times as it needs to in order to get the lessons that it needs to get before it actually evolves and moves on to the next place. So yeah, I really feel that reincarnation is in fact real. I've got a lot of memories as well. I've got a big Celtic history behind me, and so I've got a lot of memories from the Scottish Highlands. I've got a lot of memories from passing on the Titanic. I remember that so vividly in a flashback that I had, and I couldn't understand what it was. And quite often, you know, if you've had a past life or been reincarnated and you remember aspects of your past life, you will be fascinated by elements of that. So you're talking about Native American Indian princess. So I would be going with things like you're fascinated by the North American Indian stuff and how it works and the jewelry and, you know, just that whole way of life and living and dream catchers and all that sort of stuff. So you'll find that you're attracted to certain things in an intense way, but you just don't know why, but you just have this fascination, and it's because you've lived it before and you're holding on to that memory. There's a couple of really incredible documentaries that you'll probably be able to get on YouTube, guys, that talk about a little boy, a little Scottish boy who remembers reincarnation so vividly. He remembers the guy that murdered him. He remembers the house he lived in. He remembers a dog that the neighbors had. And they were able to verify all of these details with one of his last living relatives. I think it was his sister. And she goes, yeah, you know, we had this and this and this, and this is where this is. And everything that he went through, he even knew where the person was, where the person had buried his body. That's how much memory. But there's some incredible you know, stories about reincarnation. So yeah, I do believe in it. Colleen McKinnon, of course. There you go. Yeah, there you go, Lisa, because you've got that past life. Lisa, my mum was an Avon lady. Love it. All right, let's pull some cards and see where we're going to go now. Lisa. I'm going to go here, guys. Yeah, exactly. Your nephew was scared, Crosby, because of water. I know a lot of people have that fear as well. All right. Okay. So what I've actually drawn here is the Firebird, and this is all about Phoenix rising, and just screaming that Phoenix energy. Birds and things like that. The scarlet macaw is also a representation of that fire energy, that Phoenix rising, and it's such a sacred bird in a lot of indigenous cultures, and such a beautiful bird, but difficult to work with because they have that energy of not wanting to be kept and that big free soul. So Lisa, you've pulled the Phoenix Rising card, and I really feel as if you're coming to a point where the bridges of the old ways are going to be burnt, and you're sort of like moving forward. For a long time, I feel as if you've been sort of like heading back to the past, or keeping one foot in the past, and not fearing, not wanting to move forward entirely. But I just, something has changed recently, I'm being told, and you're finally able to let that go, lay it to rest, and rebirth yourself in such a big way. And I feel like transition. I also have to acknowledge, Lisa, too, the passing of somebody dear to you, okay? And I feel as if that's the catalyst for this moving forward, or being able to move forward and letting go. So I have to acknowledge that there as well. Rebirthing too, knowing that I'm clairvoyant, I'm seeing eggs with you, and it's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? It doesn't matter, because eggs are always a symbol of birth and new beginnings. And so I do feel there's new beginnings coming up for you, new ways, new ideas, new concepts. Sorry. And so I do feel that a whole new course of direction is actually coming forward for you, which is going to be different. I think that for a little while you're gonna take a while to find your take a while to find your feet and your wings, if that makes sense. But once you work it out, you're really going to be able to move forward in leaps and bounds. I'm just having a look at the back of these cards, which are elemental. So it's earth, fire, wind, and water, and it's about embracing the four directions. And some people in this life have this belief system that all they can do is go one way. And time and time again, I say to my clients, this is your life, and for now, this is one life that we have, and this is what we need to be concentrating on. So don't limit yourself, don't hold yourself back. Take every opportunity. It doesn't matter where it takes you. There's no right or wrong. Life is about experiencing things. And Lisa, I feel as if you've been let free. And I feel that you have done that for yourself. I don't feel like anybody's done that for you. I feel like you've chosen that yourself, to set yourself free. But I can't help seeing that somebody near or around you that may have passed over has been the catalyst for this revelation. So I'm just going to leave that with you, and just acknowledge that there's rebirth happening for you. You're moving forward, and there's a lot going on, a lot of fire energy in you at the moment. So yeah, you're going to be burning up the paths and burning down the bridges. So lots of abundance and blessings there for you, Lisa, on your new journey. All right, Colleen, let's have a look, see what we've had for you. If you're new, let me know that you're online and that you're new, so that I can acknowledge you. I like everybody to say hey to everybody. Whereabouts are you from? Don't forget to share, guys, because the more you share, the more people we can reach. And it's always great to interact with new people. That's what it's about, connecting and giving guidance to as many people as we can during these hours, and just having lighthearted fun. So much seriousness is going on in this world, and I just like to bring in some positive stuff. If that makes sense. Life's too hard. Because I'm just reading Crosby, Your Thing again, where it talks about your nephew was scared of water as a toddler. You know, there are so many fears that we have that we don't know where they come from. But funny enough, I was listening to the radio yesterday, and they were talking about phobias that are weird. And you know, this poor lady had a phobia of closing toilet doors. And, you know, of course, the guys on the radio, being as weird as they are, go like, what happens if you need to go in a public toilet? You know, the ones that the doors automatically shut. So, you know, they're just talking about how they had experiences where they had to leave the door open. So, yeah, it's really funny. What's your fears? Let's hear some phobias here, guys. Let's see what they're about. My dad is very sick with dementia and had 2 strokes recently. I'm worried. Oh, yeah. Rebecca Lacey. When is lockdown in Melbourne going to end? Do you know what I see from this, Rebecca? I feel as if, you know, when people argue and they had disagreements and then there's discord. Sorry, I need some water. Discord. In life, and then it gets to the point where neither one of you know why you started arguing in the first place, but it continues. Like the original point of arguing has been just covered up by so much bullshit that you don't know why it began in the first place. And I feel like that's what Melbourne is now. I feel as if, you know, it's just gone beyond a joke now. And, you know, as I posted last night on my private post, more people are dying from suicide than COVID now. And it's just gone beyond a joke. You know, it needs to be sorted out because it's not okay. The rest of Australia is living, and, you know, they've still got COVID there, but they're living, and this government is just ass up about it. And I think it's, you know, this is just my personal opinion. It's time that Melbourne, you know, started to speak up and really stood up and start to question things. And, you know, all I can see as a medium, all I can see is so many legal actions, you know, coming out of this. And I just think, you know, the government is going to get their ass sued off. You know, I think that we're all within our rights to, you know, seek compensation for the imprisonment that we've had to go through. Yes, there's been a COVID. Yes, you know, there has been deaths, but a lot of it, and I'm not justifying it, and I don't want to get into the politics of it all. And I, you know, certainly don't want to put value on one life for another, but a lot of the deaths have been people that have had predispositions anyway. So a lot of them have had, you know, autoimmune disease, or a lot of them have been elderly that have suffered other things and, you know, do have a weakened immune system. You know, the amount of people that have been healthy that have passed from this are few and far between. And you know, I just think enough is enough. You know, people get the flu, they die more from the flu, and it's just gone beyond the joke now. You know, it really has gone beyond the joke. Let's have a look here. Spiders. Yeah, I'm petrified of spiders. Tamara, I guess you're not watching it anytime soon. Snakes and spiders. Christy, do you know they're 2 of the tests, the etheric tests, snakes and spiders? What else have we got? Cockroaches and spiders, fear of heights. Yeah, I'm with you, Lisa, on that one. I get a bit wobbly at certain heights. So look, I think that, you know, I don't know why people are scared of spiders. You know, I don't understand it, but anyway, yep, it's just rubbish. Hi, brother from another mother. How are you, Austin? What's happening in Canada? Canada. Where am I going to go here? All right, I'm going to go back to Colleen and put her a card. Here we go. Getting off track. I need to pull myself back into alignment. And yes, I can hear you all saying focus, Bec, focus. Come on, it wouldn't be me if I had to focus, would it? I can break some rules sometimes. Hey, Professor, isn't that right? Okay, what we got here? Oh my goodness, this is such a Celtic thing. Check this out. These are really Celtic cards, actually. It's the frog. Colleen, it's the frog. Look at that. Frog is very much about cleansing, okay? And the frog talks about emotional release, and quite often frog is associated with tears, okay? And just that you know, cleansing and letting go. It's the water element, okay? But it's also you know, when I'm actually having a look at this, I'm just being shown. I look at the cards and then I work with spirit, and so what I'm actually seeing this is, you know, the frog and the prince, when you kiss it, you know, you get that whole, like, is it my prince? And I feel like clean love and self-love is something that's reflective here in this card, apart from that whole cleansing. And I feel like you need to let go, as in cleanse or cry it out or whatever it is that, you know, you need to actually let go of this view or idea that you're not good enough or that you're not loved. I see such a vibrant energy near and around you as I'm having a look at you, and you know, I just feel as if that's a mask sometimes, you know, your portrayal of I'm okay, everything's fine, but underneath there's this woman that wants to be acknowledged and respected. And I think that is you looking in the mirror at yourself. You know, you respect everybody else, but you don't respect yourself enough. So frog is about cleansing. It's about, you know, bringing in, you know, that emotional release. And, you know, you can't hide it inside all of the time. You know, I think it's really important for all of us to acknowledge that when we're not okay, we're not okay. You know, the frog is also about you know, kindness and compassion and those things. But again, I want to put it on the mirror of reflection and bring that to you. You know, frog is emotion. It's water. It's a water-based thing. And you know, I feel it's, you know, when you look at you know, as I said to you earlier on, the frog princess, where she wants to kiss the frog and keep the frog, you have to sort of like look at the aspects associated with you know, just who you are and what you're about. We all have that. We all have parts of our body, and we all have parts of our soul, and we all have parts of our minds, and we all have parts of us in general that we don't like and that we don't feel comfortable about. But we have to ask ourselves why. Why don't we like these things? You know, is it because somebody has said something negative and we've believed it? What is it? At the end of the day, guys, we're a vessel. Okay, our bodies are a vessel for our soul, and for whatever lesson we've been given, the reason, you know, like I always complain about my weight and think, well, maybe it's my you know, maybe I wanted to know what it was going to be like to be fat this time round. You just don't know. But whatever it is, we have to learn to love ourselves. And, you know, it's mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? And there's a real fairy tale element to this card, Colleen. And so I have to say to you, you know, all women are a princess, all men are a prince, and we just need to have that fairy tale belief in ourselves that, you know, there is a happy ending, and that no matter what we're going through, there is that beautiful energy near and around us when we allow ourselves to receive it. You know, we can look at the light or we can look at the dark, and we both have elements of light and dark in us, the yin and the yang, the you know, Ida Pingara, the Kundalini serpent. We all have those elements about us, but you know, it's what we choose to focus on. Energy flows where attention goes. I say this every single week. And if we're focusing on the negative, that's all we're going to see. If we focus on the positive, that's what we're going to see. But you know what, guys? It's about balance, okay? It really is about balance. This beautiful card is showing a lady kneeling down in front of the lily pads, looking at the frog, okay? Now, you can be scared of the frog, or you can embrace the frog. We all have that ugly duckling syndrome, but they're all components and all parts of who we are, and we need to love and embrace every single one of them. So I know, Colleen, that's going to make sense for you. And I really feel that there's some hefty guidance in that one for you. So I'm going to leave that there, and wish you love and blessings. Mindy, it seems so unfair. Some are born more attractive, athletic. Look, I'm always complaining about my weight, but then you know what? I feel blessed in some ways because at least I have 2 arms and 2 legs. There are a lot of people that don't, and it reminds me of that old saying, "What you have, somebody else is wishing for." So just remember that one, guys. Crosby, I'm considering studying psychology. Do you feel it's the right path? Crosby, I feel like psychology is going to be really hard for you. Just on an emotional level. Okay, I know that you're quite empathetic, and I know that psychology is a really hard subject to put time into on a university level. Anyway, it's just got so much reading and so much time that with your head stuck in books. But I don't know whether you're going to do psychology in a degree type of thing, or whether you do something with a psychological element to it. So just hold off on that, Crosby. I just feel that you need to do something that's going to be not detrimental to who you are. It's a hard course. It's a really hard course. I've had a couple of friends do it, and it nearly broke them. But I'm not saying you're not going to do it. By all means, I hope that you do everything that you want to do. And guys, if you've got something in life that you want to do and you want to achieve, then go for it. Knock it out of the ballpark and really move forward. So yeah, lots of blessings, Crosby. And just apply yourself and see how you go. But I feel like there's something maybe not a psychologist, but something based, a psychology based career. Certainly I can see that for you. All right, guys, let's have a look. I'm going to finish at 1:30 today because I've got a few appointments this afternoon. So I'm just going to have a look here and see what we can get for you. Crosby, just start somewhere, okay? You don't have to have the end game. You just have to have a beginning, all right? Just start somewhere. Take the first step. You like psychology. Have a look at what you can do with that and what options, you just start. If it's the beginning of a psychology degree, do a couple of subjects, see how you go with them. Maybe do it part-time before you jump in full-time, and just see, because there's so many different elements. I've got a friend that wanted to be a psychologist, and she's ended up working for DOCS, for the Department of Human Services. So, there's so many things. You can be a counselor, you can be guidance, you can be so many things with psychology. So just, have a look at what you're interested in. Look at the career paths and see with those qualifications, what you can actually move into. Holly Willows. Holly, I'm going to draw a card for you because I know you're asking, is there anything in store for you in the next upcoming months or something? There's always something in store for everybody, Holly. It's just a matter of sort of like what's actually going on and where things are coming in. But I do see for you that decisions need to be made. I'm seeing a split decision, and I'm just feeling as if you'll have to make choices, if that makes sense. So let's just have a look, Holly, and let's just see that. Melissa, you've met somebody that I really connect with. Just wondering what you feel for us. Take your time, Melissa. Don't rush things, is what I'm getting on that one. Guys, if you like the banter and you like to connect with your loved ones in spirit, please, feel that you can approach me for a private reading. There's a lot that I can't say on the banters that are intimate and, that come up during sort of like my time on here. But, you have to understand that, there is etiquette and there is work ethics, and some things are a little bit sensitive, and I just don't like to sort of like pull that out and you know, pull everybody's guts out on a public forum, if that makes sense. You know, people can become emotional, and when you're dealing with loved ones and heartstrings and emotional ties and all those things, it can be quite sensitive. And you know, I like to try and be as sensitive and compassionate as I can when reading for you guys. So let's have a look, Holly. Let's see what's here for you. Holly, it's the spider. Okay. Now, spider is twofold. We had Scott Alexander King on the show a couple of weeks ago on our Sunday night show. And as he explained, there are two types of spiders. There's the hunter, and then there's the gatherer. And so the gatherer spider will bring things to it. So they're the ones that weave the webs and they catch everything in the webs, whereas the hunter actually have to go out and do it themselves. The spider that I'm seeing for you, Holly, is the hunter. And so I feel like what you need to do is actually put yourself out there a little bit more. You know, as I spoke a bit earlier about, you know, if you're wanting something, you can't, you know, stay at the back of the canteen if you want to get fed. You know, you need to put yourself out there. And so I feel that Holly, what it is you're wanting to achieve, you're going to have to manifest it yourself. You've got to put yourself out there, put the intention out there, and you know, go after it. Go after your dreams, go after your ambitions, go after your desires. They're not going to just land in your lap. Okay, you're going to have to do it. Some people are lucky it lands in their lap, and you know, that's you know, that's one way of dealing with it. But you have to also understand that sometimes it's the hard work that pays off. And I really feel that in this case, you know, you are a really hard worker. I do see shadows around you though, Holly, so I'm not quite sure if there's depression or anxiety near around you. And I just want to step to the side of that and you know, just move forward. I also see hands behind backs with you, Holly. So I feel as if your hands are tied somewhat in regards to making choices and making decisions. But I do feel as if, you know, there are ways out of it. You just need to sort of like hunt that little bit further. You know, you need to gather what you need in order for you to move forward. And sometimes that's growth and emotional growth. Sometimes it's letting go of emotional trauma, and sometimes it's just sort of like setting yourself up so that you have everything near and around you. You want to paint a picture, you need the water, you need the, you know, you need the medium, you need the paints, you need all that stuff. You know, you've got to prepare yourself. And I feel, Holly, there's a whole part of you that's sort of like hesitant in putting yourself out there to the point of being seen. So I just have to acknowledge that. Is there something in store for you for the next coming months? Yes, of course there is. There's always something in store. But I feel like Spirit's really going to push you out of your comfort zone. And I feel like that whatever's coming around the corner is something that is not only going to make you look at, you know, the demons of your past, but help you to actually release them and let them go, if that makes sense. So I hope that makes sense for you. Hey, Gypsy, how are you? I was going to message you later. Let's have a look here. Look at this. Inbox me for an accurate reading of love. Maybe I should, you know, message them. Oh, they make me laugh. Who wants to buy some armadillo meat? Remember that one, guys, or monkey meat or something that they came on? You're welcome, Holly. What's Tamara got written here? Has my mum ever come to you at all during the banter? She says she's the one I like to connect with in a private reading. Thanks, Tamara. I couldn't tell you that. I read for so many people each week, and have so many spirits coming forward. I really don't know at this stage. And quite often when I jump out of a reading, I have no recollection of, you know, I have no recollection of what's actually being said preceding that. So at the moment, I can't answer that question. You know, you would have to come in for a private reading, and I'd bring her through there in that one. So I'm sorry. You know, so many people come to me and go, do you remember this? And I'm like, no, I don't, because I'm working with spirit. All I'm doing is like plugging in, and as soon as I pull that plug out, it's like the connection's gone. It's like the electricity's not there anymore. Just, you know, no lamps are turned on. So it's that clear and that cut. You know, when you turn it on, it's there. Turn it off, it's not there. That's not my mediumship. That's just the link, what we call the link, if that makes sense. Amelia, I do half an hour readings. They're $85 for half an hour. My hour readings are $150 for an hour. So yeah, if you got one question, I've got $25. I try to make it easy so that people can all have the opportunity to seek guidance. So yeah, I do try and do that and bring that forward there. All right, guys, I'm going to leave the banter there for today. Please join me on Sunday at 8 p.m. Okay. And, you know, I'm going to send lots of love and blessings, as I do each week for every single one of you. If you do want a private reading, my email is running across the bottom of the screen, office.ozpsychicbarber@gmail.com. For those of you that have had readings today, lots of love and blessings. And please listen to what guidance spirit has given you. If you haven't received a reading from me today, I hope that you've listened into the words of the banter and listened into the words that spirits passed across, because there's always a message in somebody else's reading that you can apply to your life. There's always guidance. There's always something that you can take from it. So even though you haven't received a personal reading from me, that doesn't mean that you haven't received guidance from spirit. So you know, just pay attention to the words that are gifted, and if they can make sense to you, or you can apply them to your life, then please take them, because they are guidance from spirit. And you know, we all need guidance from time to time. I'm sending you all love, because I know that you know, for those of you, especially in Melbourne, that are still in lockdown, you know, it's a really hard place to be at the present time. You know, we can't go out, we can't have dinner with our friends, we can only go to the park outside with 5 people. You know, we still can't go 5 kilometers past our residential place, and it's just, you know, I read something the other day that said people in Australia just don't understand what Melbourne's been through, and that's a true fact. But for those of you that do have that freedom, you know, you're blessed with abundance. So take each moment as a blessing, because you know, some people still don't have that freedom, and it is becoming harder and harder. And you know, the mental health strain in Melbourne at the present time is very, very difficult. So I'm sending all my love and abundance and blessings and healing to Melburnians and to the rest of you, wherever you are in the world. You know, be abundant, get out there, make things happen, and live each life as if, you know, live each life moment as if it was your last. And take every opportunity, guys. You know, as I explain to you each and every week, when we go over to spirit, the thing that we take with us is the memories. So make them, and make them big. I'm going to sign off for now, and I'm going to talk to you all next Wednesday. If you can't join me on Sunday, but otherwise on Sunday, I'll see you all then. Thanks for joining.